Hi, I'm Liz Buckle, Program Director for DirectTrust, and I'm very excited to share with you the work that DirectTrust has been doing over the past several months, as well as invite you to an upcoming information session. In December 2019, we assembled a roundtable of EHR vendors, both members and non-members of DirectTrust, to come together, collaborate, discuss common industry concerns, and propose solutions for direct secure messaging. The overarching goal of the EHR Roundtable is to come together to ensure that direct technology is not only widely deployed, but also implemented to its full capacity to optimize utilization in order to provide the best possible patient care. The EHR Roundtable to date has been attended by 14 EHR vendors that make up more than 90% of the market. Since December 2019, we've discussed topics including directory improvements, usability and implementation best practices, how to use the context in metadata to drive routing and workflow enablement, and most recently, the ADT notifications portion of the CMS Patient Access and Interoperability Final Rule. In these sessions, EHR vendors are guided through 2 to 3 rounds of considerations and questions on the given topic and asked to share their thoughts, insights, challenges they've experienced, and possible solutions on each subtopic. I can tell you we've learned a lot, and we're grateful for the time we've spent listening and learning together. A few of the most notable takeaways from our sessions include the following. Not all are optimizing the use of the directory today. There's work to be done by everyone who touches the directory to strengthen its contents and enable end users to leverage the data quickly and efficiently. EHR vendors believe that participation in the directory should be required at some level so that senders are able to identify receivers and that the receiver's capabilities should be known. When it comes to moving the meter on direct adoption, we learned that while all participants are able to send referrals thanks to meaningful use in its iterative programs, fewer are able to use Direct for record sharing, and only about half of the participants can share lab or test results, communicate with payers, or communicate with pharmacies via Direct. Finally, when it comes to the use of context in the message metadata to determine routing and workflow, most are only using the direct address and no additional context to determine where to route. Most felt that community consensus was needed around defining the standards, the codes used, how they should be sent, and recommendations for the receivers. Because vendors have the floor to share their insights and how they've tackled problems in the past, it grants others the opportunity to go back into their own organizations and propose both new functionality and enhancements to existing functionality for the good of all who use direct technology. We've seen through market research that capabilities that have been discussed in these sessions are on vendors' future roadmap plans, which is exciting progress to increase the breadth of use of direct by providers to enhance patient care. In our most recent meeting, we began to discuss the recent CMS final rule with regard to ADT notifications and the strengths and challenges of using direct secure messaging as it is today to meet the condition of participation. We heard concerns about the current lack of standards on how to send and receive notifications, the concern that receivers would experience alert fatigue, and what the payload could or should be. We found that there were more questions than answers at this stage, and the group agreed that DirectTrust should work in conjunction with interested EHR vendors and the broader DirectTrust community to draft a standard for how to use Direct to send and receive notifications, specifically with regard to the payload and the context. In a few short weeks, DirectTrust drafted a project initiation form and submitted it to the American National Standards Institute. We are convening a new consensus body to develop an implementation guide of how to use Direct to send and receive notifications, and will be launching in September 2020. It's not our intention to reinvent the wheel through the convening of this consensus body, rather to leverage an existing standard or standards and come to a community agreement on how those should be used for this type of exchange. It's up to industry stakeholders to come together and form a community agreed upon guidance so that those who are required to meet this condition of participation are able to do so, and so that recipients of these type of notifications can use them to improve care coordination across the healthcare continuum. So what's next? DirectTrust is holding an information and next steps planning meeting on Thursday, August 20th, and we invite all interested members of the community to participate. We want to launch this effort quickly, as well as set the cadence and timeline to get a draft agreement, as we recognize that the COP for ADT notifications goes into effect next spring. So time really is of the essence. We ask that if you are an interested stakeholder in leveraging Direct for ADT notifications, that you register to participate in the information session. You can go to bit.ly/DTN Information will be shared about the formation of the consensus body in future sessions during the information session.